Hey everybody, welcome back to JT Channel and welcome to just a straight up rant. This is one of those situations where something is being talked about in the wider pro wrestling world. Hi child. And I feel like I need to talk about it, but also I'm just a little bit pissed off. So just, if you don't want to hear me rant about pro wrestling, click off. If you do want to hear what I'm talking about, I appreciate if you stick around. I'm not just angry. I do feel like this is something that needs to be discussed because there seems to be a contingent of wrestling fans that couldn't tell you the difference between a hip toss and an arm drag. There are two very different moves that look similar. That's why I always use that. That think that they can judge pro wrestling from their couch at home. Now, you're totally allowed to have your opinions. If you don't like a matchup, that's fine. If you love a match, that's fine. If you thought Double or Nothing was the greatest pay-per-view of all time, good for you. If you think AEW should burn to the ground, that's a little extreme, but you get my point. I'm not trying to say you're not allowed an opinion, but a couple of things have happened this week in both Raw and Dynamite. So both WWE and AEW, so all the tribalists can stick it up their ass. I'm over a minute now, and yes, I swear in front of my daughter, get over it. Because it's both companies, and everyone's complaining, not everyone, the IWC. So let's talk about it, and then we'll talk about why it makes me mad, and then I will try to educate those of you that don't understand. So on Raw, there was a triple threat match, Money in the Bank qualifier, Penta, Dragon Lee, and Chad Gable. Great match, obviously. How can you have a bad match with those three? Penta picked up both of them. He had Dragon Lee on his back, Chad in his front. I think he had Dragon Lee kind of in the gory bomb position, so we had him straight up and down, where his head was behind his head. And Chad Gable, he had upside down, kind of in a pile driver. And then he just kind of went down. Chad's head was probably supposed to tuck, like this, or just go straight. But instead, when he hit, his head kind of went backwards and under Penta. It didn't look great. It looked really gnarly, and the referee had to check on him. It looked like he was fine. On AEW Dynamite just last night, there was a TNT title match between Kyle Fletcher and Adam Cole. And they did a powerbomb spot, an apron bomb spot, where you powerbomb your opponent on the apron. And Kyle Fletcher stood a little bit further back, and look, Adam Cole hit the back of his head, his neck on the apron. And of course, Adam Cole's had neck problems over the years. He was gone for like over a year, I think, from his last injury. So the reason this is causing so much debate is because people are saying that Penta is trying too hard, and they're saying that AEW is too dangerous. It does feel like everyone's just shitting on AEW, which that's the only thing the IWC knows how to do. They know how to eat Cheetos, drink soda, and complain about AEW. Those are three things that the IWC can do. But people are they're saying that this is these people are unsafe and that they should be fined or yelled at, or again, people think AEW should just be burned to the ground. You have absolutely no idea what happened in the backstage area. You don't know what the conversations were. You don't know what the plan was for these matches. And I lost my train of thought. I'm dealing with a lot in the background here. Like a cat who keeps trying to get into food. I couldn't even pause at that time to take care of it. You have no idea, all right? I'm sure that the way Chad Gable landed in that move on Monday was not right, but you can't just start yelling at Penta. Chad was probably... I don't want to blame anybody, all right? Two things I hate more than anything in pro wrestling is the fucking blame game and the word botch. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Botch is a much bigger swear word to me than fuck. I would rather say that than botch. Chad might not have tucked his head the right way. Yes, there's a chance Penta tried to do this really cool move and it just went awry. Shit happens in professional wrestling. Same thing with what happened on Dynamite. The big conversation there is, well, Kyle Fletcher was too far back. You don't know that. Adam Cole and Kyle Fletcher may have decided, hey, you know what would look really cool and kind of like, to people? If you threw me at the apron and I hit my head on it. He may have been fine. Remember when JD McDonough did that moonsault and punctured his lungs and almost like had the worst whiplash in history? Like, accidents happen. When JD McDonough almost killed himself with that moonsault, nobody blamed the people he jumped at or yelled at McDonough for being too dangerous. Like I said, It's because Penta used to be in AEW and this AEW match. People just want to complain about AEW. This isn't a pro AEW video or a strictly AEW channel, and you all know that. But for real, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, bottom of my feet, my holy socks, shut the fuck up. Okay, you don't know. If they got hurt, we'll find out. There will be news stories. If they didn't get hurt, then you complain for no reason. And if they did get hurt, you can't blame Penta. You can't blame Kyle Fletcher. Mistakes happen. The reason this pisses me off so much is because when I trained to be a wrestler for 7.5 months, okay, I only trained for 7.5 months, and I had to give it up because it was expensive. It was like the cheapest wrestling school you can imagine, and I still just couldn't quite keep up with it at the time. I had a newborn at the time. Anyway, but when I was there, you learned how to do all the right things, right? Like how to tuck, how to roll, all that shit. There was a time, and I don't know if I've ever told this story, so if my wife's like, huh? But there was one night where we were doing this, this little, I don't want to call it a game, but basically we were all outside the ring. One person would be in the ring, and you would run in, and you'd take a clothesline, and you'd roll out. And then basically everyone would take a clothesline. And I think we were mostly doing it with the most experienced guys, or the ones that were progressing the best. Were getting to like clothesline everybody. We had like one part of the class was you clothesline somebody and then they clothesline you, you roll out of the ring, then two more come in and do it. But at the end, it was like this like James Bond villain run in. It's like, run in, get clothesline. I was so hyped up. I was having the time of my life at this class because I had improved greatly. This might have been the same night I learned how to do a suplex, so I was like on cloud 9, 10, and 11. And this guy, his name is Chris, wonderful, wonderful guy. He's really, really friendly, and he always, you know, wants you to do your best. But he's like 6'4" or some shit, and has muscles in places I ain't even got places. And he was the one giving the clotheslines. I was the last one. Like, I went last. I don't know why I went last, but I just did. Or second to last. I was near the end. And they were like, your turn. And I ran in, and I ran at Chris as fast as I could. I was fucking chugging along at him, and I threw myself into his arm. And he, again, big muscular dude, he threw that line, guys, all right? He's no JBL, but he threw it. And I went down like an absolute sack of potatoes. I hit my head so hard on the ring mat that I was rattled. I had to be, like, told to get out of the ring. Like, I was just sitting. I remember all of this. I didn't get a concussion by any stretch of the imagination. But I remember sitting in the ring and, like, hearing my coach, one of the coaches, being like, hey, hey! And I just, like, I couldn't focus. He got my attention. I finally rolled out of the ring. And then he made me sit down. He's like, yeah, you fucked yourself up. Why don't you go ahead and... I had to sit out the rest of the class, which was like 40 minutes or so at that point, maybe only 30. The point is, it was a practice run, all right? I ran, I got too excited, and he wasn't throwing no fucking little itty-bitty dink-dinks. He was fucking throwing clotheslines like he was supposed to. He's a big dude. You had to take a clothesline. I overdid it. And, of course, he was strong, so he hit me. It was a combination of everything. I knocked myself loopy. It happens. Okay? It wasn't the first time that something like that had happened at a training. I understand that that is a training facility, right? It's a training facility, and it technically was an independent promotion. It is an independent promotion. I was signed to an independent promotion. I brag about that whenever I get the chance. So I get it doesn't seem as bad because these are professionals on TV, but oh my God, it can happen. The Chad Gable thing, sure. That didn't look like it was necessarily planned the way he landed, but he seems fine. There's been no reports that he's injured. I haven't heard him complaining on social media. I'm sure Penta feels bad. It happens. Because just like the title of this video says, all right? I know it's hard to believe, but this is a breaking news story right here on the smallest possible wrestling community on the internet. Pro wrestling is dangerous. I don't get what is wrong with wrestling fans. we all know, we're all on the up and up now. We all know this is a weekly, episodic, scripted television show, but they are athletes. Okay? They have to do these things. They have to plan these things. It's just like if Tom Cruise was doing a stunt and one of his stunt wires went loose or broke or whatever, and he like went flying onto the ground. You can't plan for that stuff to happen. It's the same concept. So it makes me mad because the people sitting at home complaining about this shit have never done a wrestling move in their entire lives. Okay? I at least tried for 7.5 months. And if we could afford it, and she knows this, we have talked about it. If we could afford it, I'd be right back at that wrestling school, honing my craft and wrestling in the independent circuit here in Middle Tennessee. But in all reality, that's neither here nor there. Because the point is, I have been there. I have done that. I have gotten accidentally hurt, and it was my fault. It was my fault for being too excited. You can't just blame people, and you can't just get mad. You can't be like, oh, well, Penta trying to do that AEW shit. No, he wasn't. Penta has always wrestled like this. That makes me so mad when people say it's AEW wrestling. No, it's not. Penta has been wrestling like this since before All Elite Wrestling was a thought in the Young Bucks' skulls. As far as what happened on Dynamite, again, shut up, okay? Kyle Fletcher and Adam Cole had a conversation. It would not surprise me if that move went down like that on purpose. Because Adam Cole knows that we know, as the smart wrestling community, which is bigger than y'all think it is, we know that he had neck injuries, so of course we're going to cringe and go, That's exactly how that works. Kenny Omega taking chair shots to his gut because we know what happened to him. It's like you claim to be wrestling savants, wrestling fans. You study it and you go on fucking cage match. Cage match doesn't count. And you pretend that you're Jim Cornette or Eric Bischoff or Stephanie McMahon or Bryan Danielson. Most of those names I was joking, okay? Of course, Jim Cornette has no idea what the fuck he's talking about. But at least he was there. You know, that's someone that, while I don't really respect his opinion anymore, at least his opinion makes sense. His opinion matters. I know I shouldn't let stuff like this get to me, and normally I don't. I deal with this stuff all the time. I go to comment on an AEW video about a match, and like half the comments are people just being rude, and they really do look like what you assume they look like. That's the worst part. Is normally I don't make fun of people, but they really do have like big beards or like a monster in their profile photo, or their profile photo is an anime girl. It's just, they're exactly who you expect them to be. They're people that wouldn't step into a ring if they got paid to do it. But they think that they have the right to sit here and complain when things look wrong. Now, again, you're allowed to have your opinion. If you don't like AEW, cool. If you don't like WWE, cool. It's fine. We all. That's what I've been saying online a lot lately. Is I'm like, hey man, cool opinion. I'm glad that we have different strokes here. But in all reality, everyone just needs to calm down because it's not that serious. I know I just ranted for the last 12, 13 minutes, but in all reality, it's not that big of a deal. Don't blame other wrestlers and don't bitch. If you're not going to enjoy it, don't watch it. That makes me so crazy. Oh, AEW sucks. Why are you watching it? They had low ratings. Yeah, well, you were in it, motherfucker. You're the one that turned it on. Don't turn on AEW. Don't turn on WWE. Don't turn on TNA if you don't like it. Get my hair out of my face. Aha! I'm going to strangle the camera. All right. Thank you, everybody, so much for watching. This was the strangest video I've ever done. I had to get this all out of my system. Seriously, it's not that serious. If someone gets hurt, just send them well wishes. If Chad Gable or Adam Cole end up hurt, just be like, hey, get well soon. Don't yell at Penta. Don't yell at Kyle Fletcher. Don't yell at Chad and Adam. Just enjoy the wrestling, and you can be worried about them. And for the love of God, stop hate watching shit. You're just getting more views for the thing you hate. Why would you do that? I hate, like, certain music artists. I can't think of the guy's name right now. He's a complete fucking moron. He's never made a good song in his life, but people like him for some reason. He's a rapper. His first name is Tom, I think. Anyway, he's a garbage. He's absolute garbage. So I don't listen to him. I'm not going to give him fucking interaction. Why would I do that? But, okay. Thank you, everybody, so much for watching. If you stayed through the whole video, I appreciate you listening to me complain about something. Seriously though, don't forget, pro wrestling is dangerous. Yes, it's scripted like a television show, but that doesn't mean it's not dangerous. Mistakes are going to happen. Accidents are going to happen. And if you're going to go online and complain about it, maybe you should just stop watching wrestling altogether. So don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Go ahead and tell me to take a chill pill in the comments below. I'm fine, I promise. I just had to get this out of my system. Now that I did, I'll feel better. Look forward to anything else on the channel. I know you guys weren't expecting this. I think I still might be trying to get one more Skyrim video out this weekend. And yeah, leave a comment down below if you have wrestled before. I would love to get to know more of those people that have wrestled. And have you ever had an experience where something just went wrong? I'd love to hear about it. I don't want to love to hear about your injuries. I would just love to hear more stories. And if you guys want to hear more about my pro wrestling experiences, I think I might be doing a video on that next week. I think it's important to keep talking about that stuff. But until next time, this is JT Channel. I am JT. We all need to calm the fuck down, and I will see you in the next one.